Krystal Ball, I had you on the show recently, and you declared that Kamala Harris would win all 7 swing states.
Okay, let's take a look at Krystal Ball from Breaking Points' 2024 election prediction. I'm not going to cover the entire video. I'm just going to cover a few parts. I will also then show her reacting to being wrong shortly after the election on Piers Morgan.
Well, that's probably a good...
Krystal, what do you got?
Good place to queue up mine. Let's go ahead and put my map up on the screen. You have the Kamala landslide scenario. And by landslide, I mean that she wins some level of victory in all 7 of the swing states.
As it turned out, we won in numbers that nobody believes. We won every swing state. We won by millions and millions of votes, winning the popular vote.
I'm not giving her Iowa. No, Ann Selzer says, but potentially that is in play because I'm just not that bold.
I got a poll. I'm 10 points up in Iowa. One of my enemies just puts out a poll. I'm 3 down. Joni Ernst called me. Everyone's called me. They said, you're killing in Iowa. The farmers love me and I love them.
But my meta-narrative, my theory of the world that would lead to this map is effectively that the combination of January 6th and in particular the overturning of Roe versus Wade has represented a political earthquake in American politics that pollsters have consistently failed to capture.
Man, that is so funny to listen to in 2025. The political earthquake.
Sometimes you have to hit rock bottom before the rebuilding can begin, and we have now hit rock bottom. The Republican Party has now taken not only the presidency, not only the Senate, but also the House of Representatives.
She has built her campaign around appealing to this heavily female coalition, and Donald Trump on the other side has leaned into some of...
How? By going on Call Her Daddy?
As women, we have to work 10 times harder. We got to be smarter. We got to play the game to even get our foot in the door sometimes. Can you tell the daddy gang?
Yeah.
When people tell you no.
Piece of evidence here that the pollsters are missing a new post-Roe electorate is the Ann Selzer poll. I mean, this has to be the most key piece of data. She finds in a shocking upset Kamala Harris beating Trump.
One poll. We just covered this recently with Rachel Maddow talking about this. One poll.
Turning up for them. And if we leave this one up on the screen, we also find that there are some other polls that look a little bit like what the Ann Selzer poll looks like. So a Kansas pollster that has a good reputation just last week found Trump up only by 5 in the state of Kansas.
That is so funny. I never heard any news of him being anywhere close to that in 24. In 16, I've even made fun of some kind of predictions in 16 being like, oh, Kansas is going to be close. This is 2024. Trump only up by 5% in Kansas? I don't think so.
Look at current numbers in the race for president. Donald Trump declared the winner by the Associated Press in the state of Kansas. Those are the overall numbers right now. And Missouri also declared for Donald Trump.
Now, that would be an earthquake. Only 5 in the state of Kansas. We've seen multiple polls of that Nebraska 2nd Congressional District, which is a swing district, meaning it should be close, that has found Kamala Harris with a double-digit lead.
This is so fun. She won the congressional district number 2 in Nebraska. Trump actually won that in 16. That's the only thing that Trump won in 16 that he did not win in 24. Little trivia question there.
We also saw a poll of Ohio that had Trump up by only 3 points.
Fox News can now project that Donald Trump will win the state of Ohio 54.2% to 45%. So obviously that was what was anticipated in the early polling. He was ahead by about 8 points. This is a 9-point stretch, so a little bit higher than the most recent polling was showing in the state of Ohio, but a solid win for him in what used to be a swing state, but hasn't been for quite some time.
Again, that would be a significant shift away from Trump.
Trump by 3 in Ohio. Trump won Ohio by a ton. He even mentioned that on Rogan. It's not a swing state. He was right.
These migrants, they're coming across the border illegally. They've moved them to swing states. Like, this is what's going on with Springfield, Ohio, right?
They're in swing states. Well, that's not a swing state. I'm going to win Ohio by a lot. So that's not a swing. But it's called Springfield, Ohio, to be exact.
So when you piece it together with all these polls and the Selzer poll, which has so much credibility and such a track record behind it, I have to feel like the pollsters are missing something that is truly happening with women here.
But for the second time in history, a woman at the top of a major party's presidential ticket has failed to be elected to the White House. Vice President Kamala Harris received a smaller share of the female vote than the past 3 Democratic nominees for president did.
If I'm wrong, I also think the reason is pretty simple, which is just Biden's really unpopular. The economy is, people aren't happy with the economy. Right track, wrong track is a disaster. Kamala Harris, really obsessed over winning these Nikki Haley voters who potentially were, a fantasy.
I'll include that in there because at least she's considering what a world may look like if she was wrong. But now we'll get to post-election here on Piers Morgan.
Krystal Ball, I had you on the show recently, and you declared that Kamala Harris would win all 7 swing states.
I tried to find that clip. I just could not find it. That tracks, though, with the map we just saw. Kamala winning all the swing states.
In your crystal ball, if you don't mind me saying this, is a little cracked because
I thought that January 6th and the overturning of Roe versus Wade and Trump's manifestly authoritarian tendencies as evidenced by the people who were closest with him in the White House, I thought it would be enough to overcome those problems on the Democratic side. And I was absolutely dead wrong. So a couple of problems specifically with Kamala's campaign. I think there was way too much spending time with Liz Cheney, spending time with Mark Cuban.
Yes, at least she brings that up. I wish more Democrats would say that. What was the point of all hanging out with Mark Cuban seemingly every single day? Why was he like your main spokesperson?
Donald Trump, you never see him around strong, intelligent women, ever. It's just that simple.
Apparently, we are weak and stupid. Well, I don't think so, Mark Cuban.
And in general, Pierre, something I agreed with from your intro is the last guy who did the best with the coalition that is fleeing the Democratic Party right now is Bernie Sanders. And Democrats did everything they possibly could to block him.
In my opinion, right now, the dominant force in the Democrat Party is the socialist wing. I don't know what's going to happen, but it'll be entertaining to watch.
But to block him from having any significant influence in the party, he offered a competing vision that could actually combat the fascism that you see with Donald Trump. Just talking about fascism, talking about how bad Donald Trump is clearly not enough to get the job done. And so we have the results that we have.
I don't know if you caught the eye roll there from Vinny when she said Trump is fascist, but I suppose she's kind of correct about one thing. At least Bernie Sanders and the socialists have a vision. It's all wacko stuff that doesn't work. Crazy high taxes, government-run grocery stores, defund the police. At least, though, they have a vision. The modern, like the Nancy Pelosi, Hillary Clinton wing of the Democrat Party's position basically seems like it's just, we don't like Trump. But anyway, with that said, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. Have a great day.